hear anything that I just said? I bet you could not. All right, so now I hope you can hear me. Now to turn the microphone on. So we are going to start our vision board workshop beginning this week. It's a multi day thing. So it's like every week we're going to do a little bit more in the book. It usually takes, if we go strategically through it, if we're coaching our way through it, it may take about 2 months, which sounds like a long time, but you're actually having breakthroughs as we go along. So each and every step of the way is the opportunity for a breakthrough. Okay. So don't like be alarmed, but as I said before, by the time you get to the magazines, by the time, it's time to open the magazines, the pictures just jump off the page because you're so clear about what you want to create this year and you're so grounded in your conviction that you're able to create it that the pictures are just like your brain has already imagined what your life is going to look like. So it's easy. Um, First off, this PDF is in the Facebook group in the guides. So I know it looks backwards to me. I hope it's not backwards for you. Um, Vision board workbook, it's in the guides for you to download. If you're in the Facebook group and you're not an active student, somebody sent me this question. That's why I'm like gonna tell you, please go ahead and download it. Everything in the Money Squad Facebook group is for everybody. So it's for you. If you're not an active student, I'll tell you. Like I'll just be like, like for prizes, you won't get a physical prize if you're not an active student, but please play along because you'll still get a shout out. If I put something like a link in there, like your spreadsheet or a PDF or a challenge that we're going to do, if there's a link in there, it's free game. Go ahead and grab it. It's for you because I want you to play along. So we officially start tomorrow, but the reason I'm coming in today is for that very reason. If you are not an active student, but you grabbed your guide, let's start going through it. If you are an active student, the benefit that you have is that when you come into the coaching room tomorrow, you actually will walk through this and get coached through this, not just like watching a video and doing it on your own, like you actually get your questions answered and you get coached through it. So when you first started off, there's going to be this emotional chart. So this is basically almost like a feelings wheel, but it's not a wheel, obviously. There are the 6 main categories of emotions: surprise, happy, sad, disgust, anger, and fear. And then there's a breakdown for subcategories of emotions, and then another further breakdown if you want to get really specific to the emotions. The reason this is in the front is that I want you to be able to use this feelings chart all throughout. Because remember, your emotions are your guide. Your emotions are going to be the compass that gets you from where you are to where you want to be. So it's really important that we have the very specific word for our emotions so that we can identify and get to know those feelings specifically because they're always going to be leading us. Um, so there's 2 things that help you create your life. 2 things that are essential. And this is about law of attraction. It's also about, how you communicate with God. One of them is this is like what separates us from any other species on Earth and what keeps us having our connection to our creator and to the surrounding world around us is number 1, our imagination. This is why we create vision boards. You create a vision board because when you see something, you see a picture, this is your ability to activate your imagination. So what you want to do ultimately at the end of this process is have a picture you see yourself in, right? So if you see, I usually have a vision board or 2 around here to just grab, but I'm gonna have them for the next time that we talk. That way I can always show you. Oh wait, this is my old vision board magazine. Okay, I saw that green popping out. Mm. Oh, all right. Sorry, I should have had this already out. But okay. So I put mine. So back in the day when I was working, um, I was hardly ever home. And so my vision board wasn't on the wall. You know how most of the time people will have the big board, it's on the wall, it has all the pictures. Mine didn't work that way because I wasn't at home long enough to look at a vision board. I went to work early in the morning. I got home late at night. I basically took a shower, went to sleep, got up again, and did it all over again. So I didn't really have time to really stand in front of a board and do my visualization. Look, I wish it wasn't like that. So what I did as a workaround is I made, I'm sorry, my dog is gonna be barking because my niece is here and he basically hates her. So he's always barking at her like he's crazy. So what I did, I basically made boards that were 8.5 by 11 and I put them in my little, I love these Mead um fold over folders, binders. It's like a hybrid, it's called a hybrid. Anyway, I made them this size where they could fit into a folder. I put them in my work bag and I would take them to work with me because I lived at work more than anything else. Um, so, and then I evolved. Okay. I laminated them after, a couple years, I started laminating them. So this is one from maybe a couple years ago. Cozy Corner, Relax, Better Homes and Gardens, Sold, Warm Welcome. So what you want to know about having a vision board is um you want a mixture, it's a collage, right? And you also want a mixture of words and pictures. And when you look at it, as I was saying before, your imagination should help you to put yourself into the picture. So when you see this room and these books down here, you want to be able to feel that cushion under your bottom. You want to be able to, hug that cozy heart pillow to your chest. You want to have your feet up on this ottoman. You want to be able to just, oh, I just put my books down here real quick because I went to answer the door. Oh, I put my books down because I went to grab a cup of tea. So you want to be able to imagine yourself in the setting of the picture that you select. The word should mean something. I'm sorry, this dog. The word should mean something to you. So all of this whole page was all about cozy for me. The other thing, the other thing that I did, it's okay, Winnie. The other thing that I did was have a color, like a the pop of color is kind of consistent throughout. So this one, as you can see, is mostly green and red. Let me show you another one. So the kids are out there like playing and screaming, and the dog is like super upset. Okay. Okay. All right, let's see. Okay, how about this? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to put him in the kennel in a minute. This one is kind of, let me see. Let's see. Okay, let's see if this one is. It's kind of see-through. So, but this one was mostly about like me and my daughter. So there's like bikes here, we ride bikes together, reading. This is a reading room, just kind of like manifesting connection, manifesting fun, and in motherhood. So that's what that page was all about. And it's just, me, when you make these, you imagine yourself in the page, in the scene. The picture has to mean something to you. So the other thing that you use, because there's two things that you need in order to manifest powerfully. One is your imagination, like I just described, and two is your feelings. And that's why the feelings and the emotions are so important here. So you use your imagination, You get into the scene and then you use your emotions to bring up, okay, how does it feel to be in this scene? And then we're going to use those emotions later. You also use the emotions that come up that are kind of maybe the more doubtful ones where you're like, I don't even know, how this is going to work, like those kinds of emotions. We use those too. So it's really important that we can nail down and drill down which exactly are the emotions that we're feeling so that we know how to use them in this process. So that's the first part. So what you're gonna do, so every week when we're going through this, we'll go as far as we can. With like we'll be discussing it and going through it. So I can't say like, okay, tomorrow we're gonna work on this because I don't know how far we're gonna get. But we would go further if you do some of the pre-work, and then when we get together, we can like talk about it. Hold on, let me put him in the kennel. Oh, come on, Winston. Nope, you're not going out there. Come on, please. Please. Good boy. He's like freaking out. And he's like, what are these kids doing? All right. Okay. So the first thing we're going to just get out of our head, we're going to just do a brain dump so that we have all of these thoughts and feelings out of ourselves and onto paper, is to write down our thoughts about money. Okay, we're just going to take all the thoughts that we have about money and put them on the page, good, bad, or indifferent. Like just put them all on the page. Don't judge them. Don't, think about them. Just get them out of your head. Whatever it is you think about money, the way you think about your money right now, the way you think about money from, your past money stories or future, if you're worried about money for the future. Get that all out of your head. The more honest you are, the better it is. You don't have to show this to anyone. You don't have to turn it in. Um, and the next page is a review of last year. So if you were in the program last year and your budget diary spreadsheet is like all caught up, then you'll have the number that goes at the top that says last year I created such and such amount of money. You'll have that number. If you don't have that number, it's fine. You can put, how you felt about how much money you created. Last year I created enough money. Last year I created, more money than I needed. Last year I created whatever it is, you can put how much you created. Um, and then on this page, it asks you some questions and you just fill in. This is all, you're just downloading information just to get it out of yourself so you can see it. Once you put things in on paper in black and white, this is why we're not typing this. If you can, if it's at all possible, use a pen and paper to fill this out, because there's magic in the pen and paper. When you focus enough, so your mind is going faster than your hand can write. So when you write, you actually force yourself to focus, slow down, and write. This is why if you feel anxious, then you should start to write. And just journaling will kind of calm down. I can't even talk. I'm so sleepy. Journaling will calm your mind down and slow it down enough to where it'll like chill out, and the anxiety, if you have anxiety, it'll like calm anxiety. And so that's the same kind of thought process we have here, is that we want to slow down and write, not write slowly, but slow our mind down enough to write and focus, because the magic will happen from there. All right. So some of the questions. So compared to the previous year, so basically compared to 2022, what do you have now that you didn't have before? So it could be material possessions, it could be certifications, it could be just some general knowledge. Like what did you have? What did you get in 2023 that you didn't have in 2022? Okay. And then the next question, what do you know now that you didn't know before? Like what new information did you know? What new skills do you know now? What revelations do you know now? Like this is, this is a big one, right? Where have you gone now that you hadn't been before? Meaning, what events did you go to in the past year that you had never been to before? Where did you travel and you had never traveled before? What adventures did you go on? You hadn't ever done those things before, right? It helps you to, it brings these things to the forefront so you can see what a unique and special year 2023 was for you. Who is in your life now who wasn't in your life before? So, are there loved ones who are in your life that they weren't in your life previously? Do you have a mentor who's in your life that wasn't there before? Is there a friend that you have in your life you didn't have before? Is there a pet? Did you get a new pet? Like, what's in your life from this past year that wasn't in your life before? Who? I shouldn't say what, I should say who. And then what was your personal victory of the past year? Your personal victory, right? Could be anything, could be something small, but it was something that you overcame or something that was personal to you that was important. Okay. And then I'll do one more page because this is all about reviewing the past. And then I will come on next week and tell you about going what we do going forward. But the next page is the annual evaluation. So I am a big person. I enjoy evaluating. So I evaluate every month. I used to evaluate every week. Do I evaluate? I do evaluate every week still. I'm like, wait a minute, don't I evaluate? But the annual evaluation is really good. So there's three questions that you ask yourself for any evaluation. One is what worked well, what didn't work, and what do you want to do differently? So for the annual evaluation, what worked well last year that you want to continue doing this year? Could be anything. Just think about what worked well, getting up early, right? Going to bed early, doing evaluations every week. What worked well that you want to keep doing next year. And then what didn't work last year, so you're not doing it anymore, right? Personally, creating oodles and oodles of content for Instagram. That didn't work last year. I'm not doing that again. That was just going to lead to burnout. So that's something I did last year. I'm not doing again this year. So what didn't work for you last year that you're not doing anymore? And then what's something new that you want to try this year? So this is your what are you doing differently? Usually for the what worked well, I'll try to have at least 10 things listed. For the what didn't work, I'll also try to have at least 10 things listed because the more you like, if you force yourself to list 10, you'll get, you can rattle off five or six off the top of your head, but then it starts to make you think when you try to get those last four. So I want you to really think about what worked well. I want you to really think about what you're not going to do anymore. But then for what to do differently, this one is a little bit different. I like to only have two or three things there because I don't want that one to be overloaded with like, oh, I'm gonna do everything differently. No, just do one thing different. Just do two things differently. At the very most, three things that you're gonna do differently, but not a whole lot of things because it's hard to build habits. It's really hard to change what you're doing and do things differently. So I don't want you to overload that. All right, so that is probably, if we can make it that far in tomorrow's session, that as far as we're going to make it. And we're going to coach through that and talk about that because what comes up as you're doing this process is going to be really helpful to look at so that as we move forward and you start to, you know, manifest these things in your life, we want to make sure that any money blocks or anything that's lingering is cleared completely out. So let me see if there's any questions. Minute. Okay, I don't see any questions, but let's see. Okay, it looks like we're good. No comments here. Now, trust me, I could be looking all in the wrong place, but I don't see any. We go to live chat. All right, cool. All right, so no questions. Okay, good, good, good. So, for tomorrow, if you have the book, start to fill in what your thoughts are. I will be giving you time to write, but it's an hour-long session, so I won't give you like tons of time to write, but it'll be time to write and time to think. So then we have some time to coach. So much fun. This is like my very favorite thing to do each year. I say it about everything. I really love to do the vision board part because that's when we really confront the all those thoughts that are living rent free in our head that we never confront. We get to actually look at those and decide if we want to keep them going into a new year or not. So, super excited. Get the workbook. If you are in the Money Squad Facebook group, go ahead and grab the workbook. If you want to know how to get in here with us, send me a message, put a comment on the video. If you can't find the workbook, let me know. I'll tag you where it is. And I am super excited to start this journey with you, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.